He is the coach of the year when you look at the SWAC. How about the king of the hill? And how about the list goes on? Let's just say HBCU national championship coach, the Celebration Bowl winner in a 30-26 decision in Atlanta. Ladies and gentlemen, Coach Willie Simmons, how are you? How's the family? And how is the family?
Well, starting out, the FAMU is still riding high. Some of them probably went to work today, but I know many of them didn't because there was some celebrating going on in Atlanta this weekend. But just excited for the university, excited for our fan base, excited for these players, our support staff, our coaching staff, their families. Everyone's doing extremely well. So, of course, my family's riding high as well. My wife's a fourth-generation Rattler. So, anytime FAMU can do something special, she's right there in the thick of it and loving it up. So, kids have worn orange and green for the last 6 years, and that'll definitely continue now as we're all elated we were able to bring the national championship back to Tallahassee.
Coach, years ago we talked about the Pantheon of great coaches and FAMU football, and I can go back to the MEAC Media Day, and you had plans to revitalize and rebuild this program, and you were able to do that just so. But talk a little bit about what this season means. You can draw parallels in between the champions in '78 and this season, both 12-1. Talk a little bit about your particular program in this season.
Man, this season has been definitely one for the ages. We knew way back in, I can say August, but really before then, that we had something special. The team that we've been able to assemble through recruitment, and I tip my hat to our recruiting staff, director recruiting Devin Richpress, our student workers. We knew coming out of the spring and then going into training camp that we had a very, very talented team. I think I went on record to say this is by far the most talented team, top to bottom, that I've ever coached. And so on paper, we knew it. I think everyone else knew it. And you look at preseason, rankings, we were picked to win the SWAC East. We had the most all-conference selections, I think, with 12. And so I think everyone kind of figured that, hey, this may be FAM's year. And so the challenge for our guys was to really not buy into the hoopla and read the press clippings, because regardless of what happens in the preseason, the work still has to be done once the season starts. And so we challenge the guys every day to go out, to sacrifice, to work hard, to do the things that it takes to be a champion on and off the field. And so when I look back on the season, that's the first thing that comes to mind. It's just the work that these guys put in every single day. I mean, we practice at 6:15 every Tuesday, Wednesday. And so that means those guys are in the field house at 5 a.m. getting taped, getting treatment, getting ready to go out there in sometimes 40-degree weather in the morning, drizzling, you name it. We don't have an indoor facility, so if it's raining and no lightning, we're out there. And they didn't complain. I told them earlier, hey, you better prepare to practice in cold weather because championship teams in the South practice in the cold. And so to be out there the last 3 weeks for the SWAC championship game, for the Celebration Bowl, man, I mean, it was some mornings 38 degrees, 42 degrees. And us Florida boys, it gets below 60, we're cold. And so just those are all the things that as I was holding the trophy up, as I was being embraced and all the emotions started to overflow, that's really what my mind went to. But as far as historical reference, I mean, it's just great to be mentioned in the same breath as that 78 team for what we've been able to accomplish on the field. It's ironic that it was the exact same day, December 16th, that they won that national title in 78, and then 45 years later, we're able to do the same thing. So I had a talk with Coach Hubbard after the game, was able to FaceTime him. That was a special moment as well. He's been a mentor to me for a very long time. His support means the world to me. And just to see him smile and us to have a real quick conversation about the game and how important it was really, really brought it full circle about the historical significance of what we were able to do this past weekend.
Coach, your football team actually went undefeated on the HBCU side. there was only one setback down in Tampa over at Raymond James Stadium, and you guys were in that contest. Just talk a little bit about this season. Again, it was special, significant, and the cement, the legacy is cemented. The cement is solidified now.
Well, yeah, when we looked at our schedule, I told the team, and I'm very candid and open and honest with our team. I said, guys, the reality is we will be the favorite in every game we played this year except one, and that was the South Florida game. And so the on paper, we should be 12-1 on paper, winning the national championship. I said, now, at the end of the day, that doesn't guarantee that you'll win a national title. That doesn't guarantee that you'll win 10 games, 12 games, 11 games. It doesn't even guarantee that you'll win your division. We have to be willing to put the work in, but everyone knows that we have a talented team. But we use the phrase early in training camp, and we echoed it throughout the season, that talent is not enough. Talent is not enough. And so we had to continue to remind the talented team that we had that it takes more than just raw ability, more than speed, more than size, quickness, athleticism. It takes mental toughness. It takes sacrifice. It takes unselfishness. It takes, a commitment to excellence in everything you do to make this work. And those are the little things that really make the difference. The big things, the speed, the size, all those things are going to take care of themselves. But it's the little things that make the difference. And when you looked at the game Saturday, we looked at parts throughout the season, when we did not perform at our best, it was because of those little things being neglected. Ball security, communication, things of that nature. And so when we settled down, selfishness, silly penalties. So when we settled down and we began to focus on those little things, we found ourselves in an advantageous situation, and we were able to get the job done and bring home a national title to Tallahassee. But that's what I remember most about this team, is that when it mattered most, we buckled down, we focused back on those principles that we talk about all the time, and we were able to get the job done when it mattered most.
Coach Scott and his crew came out ready to play Jared Hunter. They strike first, 7-0, and it was right as the game started. Take us back to that and your reaction on that early strike, or that early score, if you will, by Howard.
Well, it started with the kick. So, we're a team that likes to pin the ball close to the sideline. Mike Smith has done a great job most of the season. I mean, he's got a very strong leg. When he hits the ball properly, it has a long hang time, which allows our guys to get down the field, and we're able to condense the field in a third. Well, the opening kickoff, he kicks it straight down the middle of the field, almost a line drive, and it lands on about the 11-yard line. So we're out of our coverage lanes. We're not far enough down the field. And so, we miss a tackle, and the guy runs the ball all the way back to, I think, the plus 40-yard line, something of that nature, maybe even closer to the end zone than that. So they started the first drive on the short field. We have a busted coverage on third down, which allows them to convert because the guy doing something he shouldn't have been doing. And then they ran a play and we missed a tackle. We missed a tackle and they scored a touchdown. And so, again, tip my hat to Howard. Their championship football team, won the MEAC, quality program, but it wasn't anything that they were doing that led to that early success. It was all self-inflicted. So my first thought was, we got to settle them down. Coaches, let's settle the guys down. It's the long ball game. The first minute is not going to determine the rest of the game. Like, let's get them settled down. Let's make sure that we understand who we are. We've been here before, and just keep chopping wood and keep plugging away. And even when we went down 14, it was the same thought process. Didn't panic. The guys didn't panic. That was the encouraging thing. I looked to the sideline when I called the defense over, called offense over. Didn't really see a look of panic in the guys' eyes, and that let me know that we were still in this thing. And if we just settled down again and played fundamental good football, that we get ourselves back in the ball game, and obviously we saw the result.
Coach, second quarter, Terrell is able to get off, so to speak, with the ground game. Take us in there. He scores, and now the tide is starting to turn, if you will, and kind of move more towards a Famu experience. Take us there.
Yeah, obviously we talk all the time about establishing the run. That was something that we really wanted to do. We struggled there early. You know, they loaded the box against us, played a lot of man coverage, and we didn't do a great job up front of identifying the fronts that they were lining up in, communicating, make sure that we had the right combos on, going to the right backers. And so we had a couple of guys come running free in the backfield, and we had some tackles for loss. And so the younger Willie Simmons probably would have abandoned the run and gotten away from it. But as I matured and grown as a play caller, I believe in sticking to the game plan as long as we possibly can. And so we wanted to continue to establish the run. We talked about what runs were effective. Some weren't working, so we got away from certain runs, but we weren't going to get away from the runs altogether. And so we were able to hit a couple of runs there in the second quarter, and Terrell was able to find the end zone to get us back into a respectable game. So he's played really well all season. I think that was his 10th or 11th touchdown on the season, which is a lot considering the depth and the rotation that we have in the backfield. And so it was really good to rely on him in the run game. And then we were able to get Kelvin Dean, obviously, open in the passing game. So just the versatility of that room really showed up in a major way on this past Saturday.
Coach, was Howard doing anything significant or special when they applied pressure and Moose was able to? There was a safety. Take us back to that experience and what that was like.
Yeah, it was disappointing because we find ourselves again in a position because of some self-inflicted wounds, and so we had converted a pass down their sideline, and then we get a call back because of an unsportsmanlike penalty that backs us all the way up, and so we run the same play just from a different alignment, and we missed the same pass that we had just thrown the play before. We missed it this time, didn't throw it, and Moose kind of got not discombobulated. He got out of the pocket, or should have gotten out of the pocket, but kind of went back and then started to retreat, which obviously is a no-no. When you're in the pocket, you got to push up or out, never backwards, because again, you lose integrity of the pocket, and those wide rushing ends will eventually beat those tackles, and that's what happened. So he retreated. Cameron Colvin, our first team All-American tackle, got beat around the edge, and we got sacked for the safety. And so it was more disappointing because we wasted an opportunity, squandered an opportunity because of a selfish act. It had nothing to do with Howard's execution. It had everything to do with our lack of discipline in a critical moment. The safety was our lack of fundamentals in a critical moment. So again, common theme. It's not Howard. They're a quality football team. They deserve to be there. It's FAMU. We're doing things to hurt ourselves. And that was the message going into halftime, that we cannot continue to beat ourselves because we're playing selfish football. We got to do it for FAMU. We got to do it for the guys in this locker room. We got to do it for the 85,000 living alumni that bleed orange and green. If you do that, we got a great chance to come back and win this game. Because as bad as we had played, we were only down 6 at half. And I truly believe that was one of our worst halves of football, that first half. And to only be down 6 really let us know that we were in a position that we can really take charge of this game and blow it open.
Coach, only a one touchdown game. It was 16-10 going into halftime. Fans were sitting back, eating popcorn, listening to the bands, and waiting and knowing that, hey, once FAMU scores, the tide will change, so to speak. They begin to strike, but take us into that part of it. Third quarter, no score, kind of a stalemate, teams jockeying for position. What was that third quarter about?
Well, again, some of the same. We had a touchdown call back after a trick play, that we didn't execute very well. We executed a trick play, but we got a holding call. Had a couple of other blunders there, but at the end of the day, it was a game that you had two teams going toe-to-toe, kind of jockeying for position. We were moving the ball a little bit, just here or there, just a play here or there. In championship caliber games, the margin for error shrinks significantly. And so the good thing for us is we were able to hold them out of the end zone as well and go into the fourth quarter with the same score as halftime. And so, we have our fourth quarter routine that we bring the whole team up. One of our players, yells out fourth quarter. When we do our fourth quarter drills, that's what we say, it's fourth quarter. And then the team echoes back our quarter. He said it again, fourth quarter, our quarter. And so when he got done, I just simply asked the guys, do we believe it? Like, do we truly believe that this is our quarter? Or are they just words? And if we believe it, let's show it. Now, mind you, we were staring down the face of a 4th and 6 when I was asking them that. And so again, the guys really responded. We converted that 4th down, winning the score, took the lead. And I think at that point, even though it was only a 1-point game, I think everybody at that point started to really sense, hey, this thing is really turning in our favor, and we're gonna get this thing done. But it was one of those surreal moments that in coaching you rarely get, and but it was such a great moment to be a part of because it really showed the true heart and character of this football team.
Coach Simmons, Mr. Kelvin Dean, he goes down in history with back-to-back touchdowns off of the hands of Musa. But talk a little bit about what he was able to do in the history books when you look at the Celebration Bowl and FAMU football.
Yeah, I mean, he made 2 huge plays, well, really 3 huge plays, 2 resulting in touchdowns. He had an early fumble, and we pulled them because they know our rule. Ball security is job security. So you put the ball on the ground, you're coming out. And I put them back in. I kind of felt that we were in a position to run a couple of those plays that we had practiced. And so he was our best pass catcher out of the backfield. So we put him in. We ran the first one that leaked him out of the backfield, and it popped open like we thought it would. Moose made a great throw and got him in the end zone. The next one, traditionally is more of a red zone play that we've run from kind of the 25 and in, really since I've been here. And what made me call it on the -47, I have no idea. I just had a hunch, called it. They went and they blitzed us again, went 0 blitz. The back got lost, and obviously Moose was able to find them. The offensive line did a great job of protecting. Moose was able to find them down that sideline near us and was able to score again. So to have 2 back-to-back huge touchdown receptions to put us up, the second one giving us a comfortable lead, I think that was, again, just a great moment for him, a guy who had committed just a year prior. His commitment date was December 16th of 2022. And so to be able to have that special moment in front of his fans in the same game that he had fumbled in to redeem himself, to have those big touchdowns and win the game MVP, you couldn't write a better storybook into that. So extremely happy for Kelvin Dean, aka Woo, and we're looking forward to seeing how much more he can impact this offense, moving forward.
Coach, both quarterbacks played hard. They both fumbled, 2 fumbles on one side and 3 on the other. Talk a little bit about the ball security, and you alluded to it, but Howard was able to come back and score, and they were a scrappy team. They didn't want to go away. Coach Scott had them ready to play.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's championship football. You got the best in the MEAC versus the best in the SWAC. And so we knew it was going to be a toe-to-toe game. We knew that they were going to come out trading punches, and we just felt we had to withstand the punches. I use boxing analogies a lot with our team because, one, I'm a boxing fan, but 2, I think people can kind of see the parallels. When you talk about the training, and I think boxing does a good job of the lead up to the fight, showing you all the trainings and all those things. And yeah, so it was a heavyweight fight, and we both made our fair share of mistakes, both teams. We threw an interception there early, and threw the pick 6 there late. Their last 2 possessions were stopped by interceptions, and so again, it's a game where turnovers are crucial, and it's which turnovers occur at which times that sometimes are the most detrimental. Our turnover happened in the 4th quarter, but middle of the 4th quarter, their last 2 turnovers happened the last 2 drives, which again, in a close ball game, you just cannot afford to do that. So, Moose didn't protect the ball as well as I would have liked, but given the circumstances of time in the game, neither interception was a backbreaker. The pick 6 stung a little bit, but it wasn't a backbreaker because we knew we were getting the ball back down 2, and we had a chance to move down and get it. Even if we got a field goal, got one of the nation's best kickers in Cam Gillis, even if we kick the field goal, we'd be back on top. So we didn't press after the interception, but obviously theirs were a lot more devastating.
Coach, take us back to your play call. You decide for Musa to get the ball into the hands of Mr. Shareed. That seals the deal. And again, we talk about cementing the legacy. That's what happened. But take us back to that call and what that looks like.
Yeah, I think that's a call that people will talk about for a while. Typically you don't do flea flickers in the fourth quarter down by down in a tight ball game. The flea flickers are usually reserved for early in the game, first play of the game, those type of things. But it's a play that we had worked on for months. Just had never run in the game, and truth be told, it looked terrible in practice. I mean, I don't think we executed it right yet in practice. And so even to the point where I started to pull it, I even made the comment to the coaches in the play, like, I'm gonna pull it. We're not gonna run the play. And the guy said, Coach, just keep it in. Coach, believe in us, we'll execute it, keep it in. And play calling is a field. I tell people all the time, we have our call sheet, but sometimes I rarely look at it. You just kind of have a feel and you just go with it. They had an injury timeout, and I don't know. I guess it's attributed to the spirit, just saying this is the time to run it. Perfect time to run it. Because again, it was a close game. We were moving the ball. We were getting close to the field goal range. So to them, you would think, okay, well, we're not going to risk turning the ball over again. We just threw a pick six to drive before. So we're going to run the ball. We had a little success running the ball there the second half. So we figured those safeties would be aggressive. And so we put a big tight end in, Yannick, motioned them over. Motioned them over and handed the ball to Terrell. He ran around and turned around and pitched it. And if you look at it, it wasn't a very good pitch. Moose made a phenomenal catch, and K-Dot did a great job of selling run. The guy that was covering him thought that he was going to crack the safety, which means he now has a fit to run. And so both guys were in the run fit, and K-Dot was able to get behind them. And Moose did a great job of catching it, flipping his hips, and getting it out and threw a dime to K-Dot, to get that last touchdown. But it was a gutsy call. I'm so thankful that it worked, because I would not want to answer that question. I would probably have to answer for the next 5 years if it didn't work and we end up not winning the game. But hey, you got to live on the edge in those type of games sometimes. You got to just, like we tell the guys, leave it all on the field. And it's a play. It's a play we've been practicing for months. And I would hate to end the season and say, man, you know what? We spent all this time practicing this play, and we never called it. So I had to put faith in our players that they would execute it. Thought we called it at an appropriate time, because if we missed it, it was, we still were close enough to be able to be in 4-down territory or line up, kick a field goal. But thankfully for us, it worked out. And like you said, we go down as one of the best plays in Celebration Bowl history.
Coach, when you go back to the Celebration Bowl on Saturday, the end of the game, obviously the Gatorade shower, and you were able to take a knee. Take us back to that defining moment and what that was about and how special it was, and just to reminisce on, everything that happened.
Yeah, I mean, it was a truly special moment. I said it before. The way I'm wired as a coach, the people who work with me probably think I'm obsessed, probably think I'm a little crazy, because I love it. I really do. I love coaching. I love the competition. I love seeing the guys develop. But you sometimes wouldn't know that because of just kind of how I am around the game, how I carry myself within coaching. I'm very intense. I'm very demanding. I will be loose around the guys because I do enjoy the relationship I have with the guys. But they rarely see me smile after games. I'm not dancing in the locker room with them. We had our little moment coming from A&M on the bus where we kind of turned up a little bit. But for the most part, I'm 24-hour rule. Let's get back to work the next day, because hey, I'm thinking about, as soon as the game is over, I'm thinking about what we did wrong, what play call I should have called. Whatever's going on, I'm thinking about what we could have done better, because in 7 days we got to run this thing back and do it all over again. And so when the clock started to run down, we got the last first down. Terrell got the first down, and I knew they didn't have any more timeouts. They technically couldn't stop the clock. Definitely wasn't gonna pull a Miami situation and try and try to run another play. It you know, my friends, the guys that have been my day ones that are on the staff, came and embraced me. And at that moment, it really just all came tumbling down. 13 games worth of pent up emotions of wanting to be happy and wanting to celebrate and wanting to do it. It all came rushing out at one time. And I was overwhelmed with emotion. And once I shook Coach's hand, and once I realized, I just, I took a knee. And I just thank God. And my prayer before every game is that, a few things, but one of the main prayers is that God, allows me to remember to honor him, with everything we do. That it's not about me, that help me to give it back to you. I think that's the ultimate gift, that you give me something. You've given me a gift to coach this game, to be able to call plays, to be able to scheme up things. I want to give it back to you and thank you for that. And so that's what that kneel was for. Thought about my mom, who's the first in our family to graduate. She graduated from Famu. I think about my dad, who would be elated if he saw me in that moment. I think about my granddad, who was my biggest critic, and his words would be, now y'all are a real program because you finally won a championship. Now you're a real program, So I thought about all those individuals that have supported me along the way, my family in the stands, my wife, my children. It was just overwhelming, man. So so it's a moment that I have not experienced as a head coach, and I really, really was thankful for everything that happened. And you remember your first, and that's my first national title as a head coach, and definitely something that I'll never forget.
Coach, what a lot of people don't realize is how important the education is in the whole process. And many people understand that, but what they don't realize is that some of the gentlemen had an opportunity to graduate this weekend. Talk a little bit about that. And they were also able to win a national championship, a big weekend in Atlanta they will never forget.
Yeah, huge weekend. I mean, we had, I think, 6 young men who had the honor of receiving their degrees from Florida A&M this fall. And the conundrum was that commencement was the day before the Celebration Bowl. And so I know that, Dr. Robinson and some administrators had to do graduation on Friday and then hightail it to Atlanta, that night or first thing Saturday morning, because the game was at noon. And so AD Sykes and I had a conversation. She wanted me to reach out to the seniors. We talked to, Carrie Hickey, our academic advisor, and we came up with some options. And unanimously, the guys decided that they would graduate on paper, but they would delay their actual walk until the spring. And so all 6 guys will walk this spring. They'll shake Dr. Robinson's hand. They'll receive their diploma that they already have earned, and it worked out for everyone. So thankful for those guys for their. I don't want to call it unselfishness, because I would have been perfectly fine had they said, "Coach, this is a special moment for me, and as much as I want to play in this game, I want to walk across the stage, and my family's going to be there, and then I'll get there, whenever we get there." I would have been perfectly okay with that, but they all decided that they were going to delay their graduation to finish this thing off, and we put in a lot of work to get to that point, and I'm thankful that those 6 gentlemen decided to do this with us, and now they can truly walk across that stage as champions with the ring on the finger, and obviously get that degree, and then shake Dr. Robinson's hands for the ultimate level of completion. Because that's what you can't, like I said, you can't write a better script of leaving this place with the ring in one hand and your degree in the other hand. And so I'm extremely proud of those individuals, and hopefully it's a trend that we can continue.
Coach, the Pantheon of great coaches, and we've talked about it over the years. The statue is outside. You can't help but think about what Jake Gaither has done, Coach Rudy Hubbard, Billy Joe, and the list goes on. And I'll say it, you're on that Pantheon now, on that Mount Rushmore of FAMU. and in HBCU football and in college football, period. Talk a little bit about being a national champion and what that feels like. And I know it's still kind of sinking in. What's that all about?
Man, and you know me, we have this conversation every time. I don't think about the quote unquote Pantheon. I'm honored to be able to walk into Jake Gaither Fieldhouse, not Jake Field, but Jake Gaither Auditorium, to visit our administrators and have meetings about the well-being of our players. I'm thankful to walk out and see Jake Gaither's statue. That's right there. I'm blessed to be able to play on Ken Riley Field, you know, and to walk in the building and see remnants of the Gulf Coast offense that Billy Joe, made popular. So it's still to me um, nostalgic. We wear the KR13 patch on our helmets to commemorate Ken Riley. And it's enshrinement to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. So just to be able to talk to those guys, I mean, about the significance of what FAMU football means and the history of it. For me personally, to be able to be mentored by Rudy Hubbard and to have the support of Billy Joe and to have conversations with Ken before his untimely passing, all that stuff means the world to me. I mean, to get a text from Joe Taylor, just recently, yesterday or today, just to say congratulations. It's a truly, truly, truly humbling experience for me to be able to hear from those guys. I don't know if there's some young coach out there that if I text them or call them that they'll be blown away, but it's still, I'm still starstruck, starstruck by Coach Hubbard, by Joe Taylor, by Billy Joe, because of what they meant to this game. And so, I just hope that when it's all said and done and the good Lord decides to tell me it's time to hang up the whistle, whatever that time comes, that I will have a similar impact on the lives of these young men that we're able to coach, and that's why we do this. The championships are amazing; they're great. Wouldn't trade it for the world, But to see these guys graduate, to see them go off and get jobs, and to be productive men, husbands, fathers, community leaders, church members, that's what's most important. And to have Xavier Smith FaceTime me while I'm doing my post-game press conference, to have Ryan Stanley and Terry Jefferson and even guys I coached out of Prairie View, calling and texting, guys from Alcorn, from all the places I've been. That's why we do this. And so to know that I've changed those men's lives for the good lets me know that I'm doing something right, because that's what Jake Gaither stood for. That's what Rudy Hubbard stands for. That's what Billy Joe stands for. That's what Joe Taylor stands for. That's what Ken Riley stood for. And that's something that when it's all said and done, that I want to be known for. Not the championships, not the wins, not how many guys I've sent to the NFL, but when they talk to a player that I coached, they'll say, "Man, Coach Simmons prepared me for life. Man, I'm so thankful to Coach that he taught me these valuable lessons that I didn't have to learn the hard way." And so that's why I do this. I think that's why our players appreciate this program, because they feel that there's a very high demand to do things the right way. But we are understanding, we are forgiving in most instances, and we just really want guys to grow and do things the right way. So when it comes to the Pantheon, hopefully I'm on the Pantheon of leaders of men. And they could say that I was one of the best leaders of men that they've ever seen. Not one of the smartest coaches or one of the best X and O guys, but nobody led men to greatness more than Coach Simmons. Like that's ultimately what I would like for them to say about me when it's all said and done. But hopefully that's a long time away. I'm still a relatively young guy. Would love to do this for a few more years, but we'll see what happens. But again, definitely elated, and couldn't ask for a better ending to a historic season.
Coach, in closing, today is December 18th. National Signing Day is the 20th, and I know you're working. Just talk a little bit about not rebuilding, but retooling. And again, guys are relishing opportunities to get an education and to throw the ball around and to play football. Just give us a little something on what happens between now and signing day.
Well, obviously, recruiting never ends. Even in the midst of preparing for a national championship, we had to recruit. So we will be active on signing day. Maybe not as active as some other people, but excuse me, but we will bring in some guys in the mid-year. So we're looking forward to another official visit weekend, early January. We start school, I think January 8th, and so by the time school starts, you'll see some fresh faces at multiple positions. We have some positions that we got to rebuild because of a restock, so to speak, because of some attrition. Guys graduating, a lot of production leaving the receiver room. So we got to make some of that up. We lose a lot of depth on the defensive line, so obviously got to make up those bodies. And then on the offensive line, even though we return 4 to 5 starters, we have a couple of guys that's got to get some off-season work done that may possibly limit them or hinder them from the spring. So definitely got to make sure we have enough viable bodies in all of those positions to be able to have a productive spring. And so we will be active. Don't know definitively how many we'll sign come Wednesday, but we will bring in a class of probably between 12 and 15 newcomers come January, sign our high school class in February, and then when the second wave of portal opens up